Hey, welcome back, everyone. It's a Mystics game day or game night, that is. We got Cardo Dudley Jr., Wilson Tarpe Jr. The Washington Mystics are back in action. They're on the road tonight to face the Indiana Fever. Both teams coming to this game at 1-1 in the standings. Indiana's coming off a win, while Washington is coming off a hard-fought loss to the New York Liberty at home, in which they went into overtime. If you guys missed that recap, head over to the channel. It is still up. It's been an extremely small sample size thus far. We're only two games in for not only Washington but most teams. Um, but what has been clear is that the trio of Citron, Austin, and Area Finn have been a constant in Washington's recipe for success. Injury report: the Fever don't have the injuries to report. The Mystics will be without Michaela Onyenwere. We're still awaiting her season debut. However, Georgia Amore, who had been on the injury report yesterday and several times today as questionable. Within the last 15 minutes or so, she is available. Not only is she available tonight, she will be starting her third consecutive game. One new addition, or well, subtraction from the injury report. Rookie Cody McMahon, who we hadn't seen since preseason action, had a slight UCL injury. She is officially off the injury report for the regular season. She'll be on not only on the floor for to make her debut, she'll be starting in this game. Again, we haven't seen her since preseason. In the first two games, we saw Cass Prosper take on that role starting at the three for Washington. So, Cardell, looking at tonight's matchup, what is it you think Washington has to do if they wish to get back in the winning column? And if they do that, they'd be picking up their second road win of the season.
They have to defend well. Indiana's very, very explosive offensively. And then coming into this game, they were second in points per game in the league, 92 and a half. Second in offensive rating, 113.7. So they've hit the ground running in that department. Now on the other side of the floor, they are food. And that's where the Mystics can take advantage. They have a bunch of athletes, get up and down, but it starts with defense. You got to get the stop, got to get the rebound. They have the bigs to do it, and they have the versatile bigs where it can create a lot of mismatches when they try to get out in transition. Shakir, Kiki, and all those ladies, they're fully capable of just getting the ball on. McMahon, like you said, they fully capable of getting a rebound. If they're trying to, let's say, deny Georgia or Rory for getting the ball, or Sonia or somebody, they're fully capable of getting the ball up the floor themselves and getting the Mystics into action. And that creates a mismatch that I think the Mystics can take full advantage of. Obviously everything kind of, starts with, everybody gonna think it's Caitlin with Kelsey Mitchell, man. She's been setting the league on fire, averaging 26 and a half points per game. She leads the team, and she's shooting 51% from the field. They got that in this college Kelsey. Like she's in her prime. She's fully confident. She knows the league like the back of her hand. Not shooting well from deep. She's taking a whole lot of, but she's not shooting well from deep. 27%. The Mystics are be in their best interest to keep it that way. Keep her at bay. Don't let her get hot from there. And she's shooting 88% from the free throw line. You know what I mean? So she's a weapon. You gotta keep her in check. Obviously, Caitlin is 45% from the field, struggling from deep. She's struggling from deep. The physicality, take away her airspace. They got the athletes to do it. They got the bodies to do it. They got, you know what I mean? They can, even on switches, the bigs, the bigger wings, they're capable of staying there and not letting her get free. She hasn't missed a free throw yet, so you gotta be disciplined because she's crafty. She'll do a lot of pump fakes, throw her body in, and you just try to draw fouls. So you gotta be sound defensively. If you do that, you can kind of keep her in check as well. But she's averaging 8 assists, 4.5 rebounds as well. So she's killing you in other ways. Honestly, with Caitlin, the best method of attack her offensively when you're on offense and make her work on that end. And that's been helpful for the Fever. Aaliyah, she's averaging 13 and a half points, 5.5 rebounds. But by her standards, that's kind of a slow start. So you have the bigs to throw at her to keep her there, keep her at minimum production. Just keep doing that. You know what I mean? And and then obviously you got the best like Monique Bentley and Sophie Cunningham and all all those late Mike Hines Allen, who's a former Mystic, on the roster or whatnot. So, but it starts with obviously Kelsey and Caitlin. You got to keep that backcourt in check because everything feeds off of them. And if you don't keep them in check, it could get interesting, man. And of course, they're on the road. You know what I mean? That always plays a part. Like you said, Cody, this is her first regular season game. And she was killing in the preseason. We loved her when she was in the draft when she was picked. She's fully capable of making an impact right away. But experience is experience, and you can't get that until you experience it. And that's just what it is, man. That's just something you can't be taught. The encouraging thing about the Mystics, they're 1-1 and they're fifth in the league in defense. They're fifth. They only give up 81 and a half points per game. And the defensive rating is they're third in the WNBA, 98. So the deep, we talked about this. We saw this coming on draft night with the picks they made. We like, if they defend, they'll be all right. The offense going to take time because of the new faces, the rookies, they're young, and you're pretty much being led by Shakira and a couple second-year players, all-star players, but second-year players that still trying to figure out some things about the league, like how can I elevate this team to get back to winning? And that's just something that, again, you have to learn on the job, learn through the fire, and through experience. So, but we know they're talented enough to, once the chemistry going, that offense, the points and offensive rating will definitely, get better, man. So that's just a matter of now, trying to get things up. And the pace, they're 13th in the league out of 15 teams. They get 78.2. I think they can run more. Maybe with Lauren, you got to slow down more, but with Shakira, Kiki, they can run. I'm not, like, you got to push the flow, man. So I think if they do that, they'll be fine. You know what I mean? And yeah, dead last in 3-point shooting. They need some people to hit from the outside. I think Sonia's. She started off high. I think last game she was kind of off. The first game she was on point. There's only 2 games, so you can't really, you know, start tripping too much. Shakira been on one, 17, averaging 17 to 10. She doing her job. Nothing to say there. Kiki, 16 to 14, doing their job, man. They just need others to start making shots. And like I said, that's tough because most of the others and then, role players and all that, rookies. You know what I mean? So they gotta figure a lot of things out, but they'll get it. And these battles is what's gonna get them there. But as long as their defense is on point, if they hold it down on that end, Mystics will be in good shape. But they gotta keep Kelsey and Caitlin can contain, otherwise it'll get ugly quick.
Yeah, and I'm right with you. I do think the offense will come along as we get further into the season, but I think, that, like as you said, the comfort level is that defense through 2 games. Like it took. I know a lot of people may not be paying attention to the Liberty, but that young lady Pauline Astier, she's off to a hell of a start as a rookie. I know she wasn't on any of y'all's bingo cards coming into this year. Uh, as being a factor for rookie of the year. That's credit to the Liberty, but my point being, Washington pushed it to the point where it was Marianne Johannes and Pauline Astier that got him out of that a very tough game in Washington. And as you say with Washington, the strength being inside. I'm anxious to see what offense looks like tonight. Where I thought the tempo team opening night was they were a good defensive team. New York, they they don't have an issue with talent. Um, I'm anxious to see what it looks like with Indiana, who's not that great defensively. Again, small sample size. If that'll open some of the things up, to your point, as you were talking about with the Mystics and on offense, and again, we're only in game 3, but
Right.
yeah, like I the numbers you shared is great because I hadn't even went to look at where they were ranked defensively. I just know from the last couple of years watching preseason, I think we all saw just visually watching with our eyes, watching the first 2 games of the regular season. This is not remotely. It's night and day difference between what they were defensively last year to this year. It is not remotely the same. Like the way they bothered New York in that first game was crazy. And outside of helping Toronto get to the free throw line on opening night, Toronto was looking. They needed a lot of help to score. So we'll see what that looks like. And like you said, yeah, Kelsey Mitchell. I wish people would just go ahead and give her the credit for what she is, which is a certified problem that is professional. bucket getter. Like you said, the three ball hasn't started to fall for her, and she's still averaging what she's averaging. Like,
I mean, she's one of the greatest scorers in the history of the game. On the ladies side, I don't even want to limit to the ladies side because what she did in college, like I know they was talking about Caitlin, but 3,000 points in 4 years and not being double, triple, whatever reclass stuff that's going on now, just 4 years, she was torching the world, man. And she weathered the storm. Doing some tough early years with the FIBA organizations. They was in transition constantly, and then things took off over the last couple of years, and everybody's seeing why she was drafted the way she was, man. So, but yeah, the Mystics. Last thing, the defense been on point. Just even further bring it home. Third in the league in steals, 8.5. Second in rebounds, 43. Second in offensive rebounds, 14. Fourth in defense rebounding, 29. One statistic that caught me by surprise, they're 12th in blocks with 3. Now that's crazy with the size and athleticism that they have, but that tells you they're swarming because they are in the passing lanes getting after it. But the thing is, again, they're 11th in field goal percentage, 41%. They're 15th in 3-point percentage as a team, shooting 20%, and even free throws. They're fourth in the WNBA in free throw attempts, so they're getting there, but they're eighth in free throw makes, 16 and a half, and they're dead last in the league in free throw percentage, 64%. So they're not helping themselves. Like, they're getting opportunities so literally the defense has been holding them down, man. And in turnovers, they're 13th in the league out of 15 teams, 15 and a half turnovers. They got to cut that down. They got to hit free throws, and they're way too talented and too deep to be shooting 41% from the field overall. And that means, like, I'm looking at it, Sonia, Shakira, Kiki, they're carrying the things right now offensively. Literally that trio. So, but again, you gotta they're rookies. They gotta learn. They gotta figure it out. The physicality is different. Things are different. But once you see the flashes offensively at times, it just hasn't been consistent and game to game. So once they are able to catch things up offensively with what they're doing defensively, it's gonna be a problem. But they got to get there, man, because I know they're pros, but confidence is confidence, man. You wake up a month and a half now and it's still like that. Hey, man, it could be tough. And then the coaches still got to make some, they got to they got to change some things and probably have to play more through the 3 with experience, until some of these other players get their rhythm offensively.
yeah, you're right. So again, guys, those are the keys to tonight's game. You guys enjoyed tonight's game. It was happy with you guys afterwards from the Six Outlook, as always.